The four Yonkos in One Piece draw inspiration from four of history's greatest conquerors ever. And I'm just gonna jump right in here and show you why that's so obvious, starting with Whitebeard, who draws very clear inspiration from Julius Caesar. And I don't just mean the fact that he's an old ruler with a large empire. No, Julius Caesar and Whitebeard were both killed by their adopted sons. Caesar, like Whitebeard in his last years, was a sickly man. We don't know if he suffered a number of strokes on the regular or if he suffered from epilepsy, but we do know that he suffered and that no one could know because Caesar was beloved by the people and beloved by the army, which you could very much liken to Whitebeard being beloved by pirates and by his crew. But on the other hand, Caesar was hated by the Senate, the official government. They loathed him much like the world government in One Piece is going after Whitebeard. And neither could know that Caesar was sickly because they admired him too much. They feared him too much. So only the closest ones to him knew. And it didn't help that the one who plotted his assassination, who stabbed him, was his adopted son. How did that happen? Well, similar to how it happened in One Piece, the adopted son of Caesar, Brutus, was seduced by a government figure named Cassius. And Brutus led the assassination that he literally led Caesar into the Senate hall, where he then was stabbed 23 times by 60 people. Not 267 times like Whitebeard, but still, we cannot ignore the parallels that his adopted son betrayed him, that his adopted son, Brutus, stabbed him. And much like Whitebeard died with pride, standing up, his back unscathed, Caesar tried to die with dignity and was said that with his last breath he used his toga to cover his face. And to make this even sadder, it was found that in his will, Caesar had named Brutus as a second-degree heir. Kaido's influence is much more obvious, much more visual. It's Genghis Khan and the Khan Empire. This starts with Kaido and Genghis Khan both rocking that Fu Manchu, both having the dark hair, and Kaido's attire, in fact the whole Kaido Pirates attire is very much inspired by the Mongolian attire, and the philosophy of the Kaido Pirates rings true in the Mongols as well. You see, the Mongols had a meritocracy. It didn't matter who you were at birth. It only mattered what you were able to do, what your merit was. If you were smart, if you were capable, if you were strong, you could rise to the top. You could challenge anything. And similarly, in the Kaido Pirates, you can challenge anyone for their position if you're powerful enough, if you're strong enough. And even beyond that, the name Kaido comes directly from Kaido Khan. And Kaido Khan had a daughter named Kutulun, who was a historical warrior princess, and Yamato has more than a few similarities to her, but I did that in a separate video. Marco Polo did meet this Kaido Khan and spent time in the Khan Empire, and he described them as having beasts that looked like giant snakes, dragons, serpents, dinosaurs, whatever have you, but you see the comparison to the Kaido Pirates and the whole dragon dinosaur theme here, right? Shanks draws very obvious inspiration in spirit and personality from Alexander the Great. The most obvious one is that both of them, amongst all of these great conquerors, are considered to be good people. Though it is obvious that to become a Yonko and to become a conqueror of the magnitude of Alexander the Great, you have to have a lot of blood on your conscience. Still, we consider them to be good. Also, both of them are the youngest of the bunch. Alexander the Great, in fact, was only 30 years old when his empire was at its biggest and was one of the largest empires in human history. Also, we know that Shanks probably has the smallest crew out of all the original four Yonkos. It's a closely knit group of elite fighters that are more or less on a similar level, and they're all friends and hang out. And Alexander the Great had the companions, a royal guard made up of elite cavalry that rode with him into battle, but they were also all close friends. But the comparisons don't stop there. While all the pirates in One Piece do love a drink and a party, it does seem like Shanks and his crew do like it a little bit more than the others. And Alexander the Great was known to be a heavy drinker. In fact, once Alexander the Great held a drinking contest with 42 contestants. The winner drank 13 liters of unmixed wine and won about 25 kilos of gold, but died 3 days later of alcohol poisoning. Still had it better than all the other 41 contestants who all died during the contest of alcohol poisoning. This is gruesome. But yeah, Alexander the Great loved this drinking, and his death even is tied to alcohol. The most widespread theory about his death is that his alcohol was poisoned when Alexander the Great was just 32 years young. A little bit of foreshadowing of Shanks dying young here, I don't know, but you see the comparisons here, right? Lastly, we have Big Mom, who draws heavily from Napoleon Bonaparte. But here, a lot of the inspiration comes in the naming. It's not just the fact that Napoleon was an orphan who rose to power and Big Mom started from nothing. Nah, it's also the fact that Big Mom's sword is literally named Napoleon. If you don't read the manga, you should stop now because I'm about to spoil something. It's also the fact that she was defeated by Trafalgar D. Law, who in his name holds two crucial defeats that Napoleon suffered at the Battle of Trafalgar and at the Battle of Waterloo. Water D. Law, Waterloo. You get it, right? So Trafalgar D. Waterloo held his victory over Big Mom in his naming this entire time. And even more interesting is when Napoleon first got banished in 1814. He got banished, exiled to the island of Elba. Big Mom is from the island of Elba. All the four Yonko also have heavy Eastern Asian mythology, folklore influences that I'm gonna do in a different video if you want me to. So let me know in the comments below, because that one will also include Blackbeard.